morning, everyone. I don't feel great this morning, you know. I feel sick as a dog. Blech. I feel like I actually could be throwing up on live this morning. So please bear with me while my pale, ill self says good morning to you all. Hello, Ellis. Hope you are well this morning, brother. Yeah, today's topic is quite a gnarly topic this morning, actually. I wrote a fucking epic article last night. Hello, good morning, Andy. Good morning, Matthew. I wrote an epic long article last night, so go check it on the Fat Lad website. It's all about how you have to take a step back to go forward. And basically within the article, I announced that I've pulled myself from the fight next week. So I'm not really in any fit shape to be fighting next week. Like, there's a multitude of different reasons as to the culmination of that particular moment that happened yesterday when I sent the text over to Craig. And it kind of all explains it in the article, and it explains it in a way whereby I positioned it quite well, and kind of, it's smart, really. Thai boxing is a dangerous sport, and you need to make sure that you're there and present and ready in every way, shape or form, and I'm big on that. And if you're not, you can get hurt. Yes, Stephen Brody. Which means that obviously there's people in the world who engage with me on here, and I am doing this for me and for nobody else. So there's nobody else that steps in the ring. And if I am not ready, then I need to be the one who puts out that message and lets the right people know at the right times, you know. So I'll take it back a little bit. I'll tell the story, and if you want to read the article, you can go check the article. It'll just be me talking a lot, rather than getting people to ask questions. If you've got any questions, send them in anyway and I will answer them. But so after, we'll start with, obviously you know that I fought 2 weeks ago. With fighting comes in the risk of injury, and I got stopped in the second round on this last fight. Big knee to the ribs, as some of you may or may not know, which means then that my ribs have been sore since. I got dropped on Wednesday in sparring with a big knee to the exact same sweet spot, which has kind of then knocked me right back again, back to square one. It's painful. My shin is a different level of pagged. The lump and bumps on it are absolutely outrageous. All the bruising on it's only just started to come out on the back of my leg. And I mean, I understand that people go into fights with injuries, and I have been in fights with niggles, not so much that they would affect performance. And to be honest, had it not culminated then with the other side of being mentally ready, then it wouldn't have been such a big issue. So the physical element of being ready is obviously being fit and strong, and being injury free to a certain degree. Obviously another element to being physically ready is being on weight, and not having to go through a major water cut to get the weight that you need to be at. And I'm not even there at the minute. So after my last fight, I cut a bit of water, which meant that after my fight, my body kind of went and held on to everything. I must have ate quite a lot of salt or whatever, and my body just then held on to everything that it could. And I ballooned back up to 76, 77, and the plan always was for this one to keep it down at 75, 74, 75, not jump straight back up, because then it'd be an easy coast down to 70, which is what this next fight was matched at. So it was lower than I'd ever been before. So yeah, like the aim was to keep it down at 75, drop down to 70 within these 2 or 3 weeks in the interim. And it would have been an easy process, but I ballooned back up to 76, 77, and even put weight on, so I went up to like 78.5. So like to be able to drop 8.5 kilos in a week, it's really like not viable. And had I not been injured, the cut might have been a little bit easier. Good morning, Jake. So you see how now all these little bits are coming together. So I've got my leg and my rib that's pagged. I've got my weight now that's not good, and that's your physical element. So the two elements to being physically ready, on weight, not good, injury free, not good. I mean, obviously my ability is there, so being physically ready in that element, that element of being physically ready is all right. Like I do feel ready to be fighting. In terms of ability, I do believe I've got the ability to get in there. And then obviously the other 50% of being ready is the mental aspect of the game. You can be as ready as you want and be as fit as you want, but if your mental game isn't 100% there where it needs to be, and I wrote this in the article, if you're 99.9% mentally ready, however that 0.01 decides to present itself in the fight, your opponent will be able to expose that, and hurt you, and that's the way that it goes. That's what they're looking for at all times, and that's what you're trained to look for. If you see a weakness, you go for that weakness. And in fights, you don't know how that presents it. You don't know how that presents. It might be that you're tired. It might be that your muscles fatigue, or you feel like a lead balloon, or that your adrenaline goes mad and you don't think straight, or whatever. However it presents itself to you, because you don't know how it's going to affect you. Then it's not good, basically. And with me now at the moment, I've had my mum living with me for the past year, and she's just moved out, so like I've been helping her with the house move. My childcare's gone a little bit skew with, which means I've kind of been in and out of training over these past 2 weeks. So yeah, like I'm probably about 70% ready mentally, which means that I'm in no fit shape. Good morning, Craig. That means then that I'm in no fit shape to be stepping in there. I'd be more of a risk to myself than I would be any good. And obviously in this sport, I mean, you saw what do you feel plays a bigger part of the mental side or the physical aspect, or has it been a combination? It's a complete combination, mate. They run hand in hand, because if you're mentally ready, to be honest, I'd probably say the mental element of it is probably more important, because if you're ready and you know that you can make that extra step and push that extra little bit further in the sauna to cut the weight, and you know that you don't have any injuries, so you're physically ready, then the mental element of it comes completely in. And I suppose the physical runs will feed the mental, because if you're physically ready, then that's going to bump up the mental score. Do you know what I mean? So I do think that the mental runs on the physical and feeds off the physical, as well as completes the whole package. So really, that being said, it's probably more important, mate, to be honest, because the person that, say, one fighter might do everything that they need to do from a physical perspective, but that person might want the fight more, might be mentally stronger, and then he takes the win. But you just don't know. You don't know, and this is the beauty of it. So because you don't know, you need to make your decision and run with that and be happy with what it is that you've made, the decision that you've made, because at the end of the day, you don't know the alternative. I'm not fighting next week, so I don't know what would have happened if I had have put my name in, if I had have gone up and I had have fought, but I can't put myself in a position to be getting hurt. Going into my second fight, I felt exactly the same. Good morning, Hursty. Going into my second fight, I felt exactly the same, and I said this to Craig as I was texting him with the news of my pulling. So going into my second fight, I didn't feel ready. I was carrying injuries. I'd burnt my toe. I hadn't trained properly. I'd maybe had 2 weeks of camp, and I wasn't ready. And I went into the fight. I kept my mouth shut. I went into my fight. I got knocked out. Big knee to the face, and I vowed that I'd never let that happen again. If I felt that way going into a fight, that I would pull it, because I don't want to get hurt. It's not worth the risk at this level that I'm fighting at the minute. I don't get paid. It's for fun, and obviously I know, and herein lies the problem, I suppose, for pulling. I know that there's always going to be another fight for me when I'm ready. So that being said, right, I've been involved in promoting shows. I've been I've promoted events. I've been a part of that, so I know firsthand how much a pull a week before the show affects the event. It affects the promoter, because he's now got to go and find a replacement. So do you feel that with you being drained from your last fight, has it brought down your mental energy, or mentally are you fit enough and your body's let you down? Titler, it's a combination of both. So they kind of marry hand in hand. So the physical element, so my shin and my rib is a ball ache. However, that being said, that alone isn't I wouldn't say it warranted enough me pulling from the fight. Couple that with me not being in the fight, my mind's elsewhere. So obviously when you're fighting, you need to commit that 110% up here to think about it, to process it, to go through the emotional roller coaster that you go through when you're committing to a fight, because it is a big commitment, and everything else needs to be in order. Work, family, all of the other shit needs to be in place so you can have the peace of mind to then commit to the process of going through camp. And I understand that this camp has only really been 3 weeks, but not really, because obviously I had the camp running up to it. So mentally, as I was saying, like I have confidence in my ability to go in and have a fight, but to go in and have a fight next week when I haven't been training really. I trained 4 days last week, and this was the tip of the iceberg. I didn't get training on Saturday because I was filming with Joe Laws, professional boxer, with Kudos, and yeah, I went to the gym yesterday and the fucking road was closed, and I couldn't get training because I couldn't get around it, and that was it. Flipped. I was like, right, I texted Craig in that moment and said, mate, I'm not fighting next week, my ribs fucked, can't train, blah 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 blah, this is it. So then he texted me back and said, fuck's sake, Dom, I told you I was going to pull you from the next one. I need to go fuck the promoter about now. And that's what I was going on to say there. Like, I know firsthand how it affects the show, so I am wholeheartedly sorry. And I said this to Craig, man, like, I know, I understand the knock-on effect that it has, because I've been involved with promoting, so I haven't by any stretch of the imagination come to this decision lightly. I mean, I was going to speak to him on Wednesday about it, but then he told me that he pulled me from my fucking April fight, because Nathaniel's too experienced for me now. So I was going to tell him on Wednesday, but I never got the chance to because he pulled me from my other fight. So I was like, oh, well, fuck you then. So I left. and then haven't been able to train. I never trained Thursday, trained Friday, couldn't train Saturday, couldn't train Sunday, so I was like, shit! So that all then has that knock-on effect, do you know what I mean? So you have to be confident that you can go in there and do the job. But yeah, I was the more experienced one going into this fight. Yeah, I was the one that had more fights than this kid. But that being said, that doesn't mean that you can underestimate the guy. Because if I was going in and I had 3 fights and this kid had 6 fights, I'd be like, fucking yeah, let's go kill him, because he's more experienced than me, do you know what I mean? And he's from a well-schooled gym. The guys over at Hanneman, the guy who I fought first was from Hanneman, and they're well-schooled guys. They come for a war, do you know what I mean? And if I was them, I would be telling them to go for the ribs. He's not going to be wanting to kick you, and that's his little trademark. He's not going to want to kick you because he's fucked his shin in his last fight, and go for his ribs, go for that body shot. And then what are you going to do? You're not going to do nothing, bruv. You're going to fall to the canvas like a sack of spuds. You're going to get hurt. You're then not going to be able to train for ages and ages, and you're going to be up shit stream without a paddle. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Health is wealth. And for me to be able to sit back and assess this and recognize the feelings that I felt before my second fight, and think, nah, I don't feel ready for this. And it's not just that you don't feel ready, it's that there's injuries, and I'm not going anywhere. It's not me stopping fighting. I'm going to be back into the gym at some point this week. I'm not going in today because I need to go get the boys from my mum's, but like, my shin needs time to rest, and it's sparring and pads tonight, so it'll just be pointless me going in, really. So yeah, like, it's a bit of a shame, because obviously I wanted to be fighting. I want to be making progress towards getting my 5 fights in this year. I want to get some more time in the ring as soon as humanly motherfucking possible. That's why I've spent the past 2 years training, do you know what I mean? But I also need to make sure that I am of sound body and mind to be able to fight, and right at this moment in time I'm not. Fact. And it's a difficult one, but I said that I would be as honest as possible. Good morning to you, EJ96C, telling me to fuck off. Fuck you, man. You know I'm a Thai boxer. I'll knock you out, bruv. In fact, not at the minute, because I'm not ready to fight. Ah! Hello, mate. How are you getting on with Connor's video? Did you ask Joe about sparring? Connor's video is in the process. I've got my hard drive. I am currently on my way to work this morning, and I'm going to get it done today for you. So I'll get it done. I heard he's not fighting this weekend, or wasn't fighting this weekend coming up now. Yeah, he's I'll get it done today. You'll see something this afternoon. I've got it on my list of things to do. Speak to Joe about sparring? No. My phone died, so I was unable to have a look at the fucking Instagram questions that came in until the day after. So I'll give him a message, and we'll hook something up after this fight, because I'm off to go see him for a coffee and a catch up after this fight next week. So yes. So what was I saying? Can't remember. But it all gets summed up in that, all gets summed up in the article. So if you go onto the Fat Lad to Fighter website, you can see it there, and everything is documented. And it's good for me to be able to, that's what I was saying, it's good for me to be able to recognize it and document it, rest, recoup, and come back stronger. Yes, Hursty. And that's exactly it, innit? So like, because it is only you that steps in there, like, you've got to make sure that you make the best account of yourself. And I know that obviously pulling from a fight isn't really making the best account of yourself, and it's not ideal. And Craig said that he was more frustrated with himself for letting me talk him round. So after I fought on the Sunday, I hadn't even been back training or anything, and I text Craig and said, listen mate, don't pull me from the fight, I want to fight, one fight. And obviously then he's gone back to the promoter and said, kid wants to fight, let's get him done. And even in training last week when he was in and we was around, he was like, oh, look at your shin, you're gonna be all right, you've only got 10 days to go. And I was like, mate, I know. And it was a bit of a joke at first because it was haggard, it still is haggard, the shin. The ribs I can work around because I can pull my arms down and just keep it locked down, and work on things to be around it, you know. But the shin, like, yeah, I can't check, I can't kick with my left leg properly because I can't stabilize myself properly. I can't teep. I just can't use my legs when I'm like, I tried to spar and it ended up just being boxing sparring and me getting kicked to bits in the sparring because I couldn't fucking do it. So yeah, it was a bit naughty really. But there are no excuses, and it isn't an excuse. I don't have to justify it to anyone, but if I can share my experiences and kind of help shed some light onto my recognition of the way that I feel, if I am then able to articulate it and verbalize it and share it in this way, shape and form, then other people might be able to think, oh shit, yeah, I felt like that, maybe I shouldn't have fought that one. Oh, I feel like that, maybe I shouldn't fight. And maybe they don't, maybe they watch this video or something and they think, oh, I'll be all right, my ribs fine, or my legs fine, or whatever, my head's all right. And they go in and they get knocked out and they think, oh fuck that, I ain't doing that again. So they don't fight and they get hurt. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. But I am, and I said this to Craig, man, like the decision hasn't been made lightly, and I kind of already made the decision by Wednesday. So I am sorry to John Craig, the promoter of the show, and Connor, who's put the time and the effort in to be ready, and I hope they do find a suitable solution. It's got to be hard knowing that with your whole being that you want to fight but can't due to home and work commitments. Do you ever question, should I do it anyway? I question it all the time. I question it every single day, because it would be a fucking peaceful life if I could train twice, 3 times a week, not have any form of commitment, do it when I want to do it, and again, just do it for the love of doing it, which I do anyway. I do it for the love of doing it, but not having that commitment level would be nice. And I suppose that it's going to be, I mean, I'm in the gym fucking every day anyway because I need the workout. I need that physical exertion at the end of the day after a work day when I'm mentally tired. I need that physical exertion for me to then be able to go home and sleep properly, because if I don't, my mind or my body races, do you know what I mean? So I need that physical element of pushing. So yeah, I mean, I do want to fight, but I want to fight smart and when I'm ready, because I don't want to get hurt. And it is what it is, do you know what I mean? And I mean, I was speaking. Good morning, Nathan Bendon. You got a draw at the weekend. I saw that, bruv. Did you enjoy it? Did you have fun? So yeah, mate, like I was speaking with Joe, who's a boxer, and he said anybody that trains and fights regularly or tries to fight regularly, as well as work full-time and have families and shit, like hats off to them, because I live at home with my dad with no real responsibilities and have sponsors enough to train full-time and look after myself full-time, then and that still takes a lot of my energy. So for people who work full-time and have a family on top of that, like, big massive respect to them. And I was like, shit, I do that. And keeping that balance, and I've spoke about the triangle before, about how if you commit to one, the other suffers. I've spoke about it previously in another video prior. So yeah, and it is a difficult balancing act, and I shared the article the other day about on my Facebook, the juggling act and my version of the events, and how even 2 months into Fat Lad to Fighter back in 2018, I started it in April and I wrote this at the end of May, and people were asking me then, like, how do you juggle everything? And here we are 2.5 years down the line, and I'm still very much learning how to juggle everything. Like, it's not something that you ever get used to, because it's perpetual motion, isn't it? You're always moving forward and everything's always changing, so you always have to be adapting and moving forward and keeping the situations assessed. And my personal situation changed last year. It's a very good nature attitude, and very well done for turning it down. Known fine well who you're letting down, sponsors and your opponent, etc. But known that's not right for you, and you need to take care of yourself. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Titler. And obviously there's an element of this, of fighting, that isn't nice, and it is this side of it. And if I can share this bit of it, then other people might be able to learn something from it. So when you see then that fucking Tom Harry has pulled from this event a week before the show, and he gets cursed and slated on social, like, you just don't know what's going on with him, do you? Do you know what I mean? You don't know that situation. And yes, it's a ball ache, and yes, the promoter's got his own agenda, the coach has got his own agenda, the fighter's got his own agenda. Then you need to do what's right for you at the end of the day, because you, to the fight promoter, really are a ticket seller and entertainment to the crowd. Like you said, a lot of people would just go to war anyway and risk getting injured even further. Yeah, there is that, but that only comes with being mentally ready to go into the fight. You have to be mentally ready to go in, do you know what I mean? Because if you're not, then the injuries don't matter. Oh, sorry, if you are mentally ready, then the injuries don't matter. Don't matter, because you're going in there mentally strong enough to not give a fuck about the injuries. Do you know what I mean? So back to your first question there before, Titler, the mental element is definitely more important. You have to be mentally strong going into it. Otherwise, there's no point. Yeah, I am settling on that. Right, I'm going through the tunnel now. I'm going to lose signal, so enjoy, everyone. Have a good day. I'm nearly at work. Peace and love. Fat Lad, go check the website, fatladsfighter.com, and check us on Facebook and YouTube and all the other beautiful places. So guys, peace and love. Out.